Sony and audio are two words that go really well together, but recently, Sony expanded their earbud lineup. As I mentioned in my original video about the latest edition, the Linkbuds S, this makes things a bit confusing. You see, the Linkbuds S were meant to be a mid-range model, and yet, in several ways, they're better than the flagship WF-1000XM4s. They're lighter, more comfortable, have better microphones, and a few other tricks that make them a strong candidate for number one. So in this video, I want to compare and contrast the four earbuds in Sony's wireless earbud lineup. These are the premium Sony WF-1000XM4s at $280, the mid-range Linkbuds S at $200, the regular Linkbuds down at $180, and of course the WH-C500 earbuds at just $99. So with such a wide price spread, how do these compare, and which one actually deserves a spot in your ears? Hey, welcome to the channel. Like I said, we have four different earbuds here, all made from Sony, but if you looked at them individually, you wouldn't believe they were made by the same manufacturer. These have a lot of differences, although there are still some of the common themes, the Sony staples that we'd like to see on these. But let's start off with some of the differences in the physical design. And looking at the cases, first of all, from cheapest to most expensive, you can tell that the case design kind of is one of the biggest reflectors of the price. The Sony C500s are definitely the cheapest feeling case. I don't know if Sony makes a translucent cover because it's cheaper or to make it look cheaper, but either way, it's something they've always done on their more affordable earbuds. And these have no magnets, they kind of just snap open from the flex and the plastic. The case, I mean, it gets the job done. It's a case, right? You're not doing that much with it. It's small enough that it fits in your pocket. It doesn't have wireless charging. You do have 10 hours of battery in the earbuds, which is really impressive, and then an additional 10 hours with the case. I wish the case had a little bit more battery than that, but regardless, and we'll talk more about the earbuds next, but moving up in price to the next case, the Linkbuds, just the regular Linkbuds. This one is both my favorite and least favorite at the same time. It's a love-hate relationship. I love how small this case is, very compact. I love the smooth curves all the way around it, extremely pocketable. It's honestly one of my favorite cases out of any earbuds, but it doesn't have magnets, which I know sounds like a weird thing to be upset about, but I always hate the physical button because it takes two hands to open this then. You can kind of open with one hand if you get good at it, but I don't know. It's something that I never really liked. Additionally, it kind of flings open and is kind of loose until you snap it all the way open, and it doesn't have wireless charging. It does, however, have USB Type-C on the back, and when you charge this up, you're getting 5.5 hours of battery in the earbuds and 23 hours when you include the case, which again is impressive given the size. Moving up in price again, the Linkbuds S is probably the best balance for the case out of all of these. It's still very small, very compact. Unfortunately, this one also doesn't have wireless charging, which is by far the biggest drawback, in my opinion, for a $200 pair of earbuds. But with that being said, you are getting a pretty decent battery. You're getting 6 hours in the earbuds and 20 when you include the case. We have a button on the back for pairing, and when you open it up, we've got that nice little indicator light on the front, and the earbuds themselves, again, are very small. So a nice compact case with magnets on there. It feels nice, good tactile closing there. It's a decent case overall, just lacking wireless charging. I don't know why Sony did that. And then we have the most premium one, or the most premium looking one, the Sony 1000XM4s. Now, this case has wireless charging. It has everything you'd expect. It is also the largest out of all of these cases. Maybe not larger than the C500. It's kind of hard to tell with those two, but it does have USB Type-C on the back. You've got the indicator light on the front, magnets to open and close it. A really nice case, but definitely a little bit on the chunky side. So now talking about the earbuds in that same order, the C500s you would expect to be the lowest quality out of these, but I actually really like them for several reasons. The first one is that they are very small, and for me at least, they're very comfortable, they're very secure, and for working out, these might be your best option because they have physical buttons. The physical buttons are a little bit mushy, there's not great tactile feedback on them, but physical buttons, in my opinion, are better than capacitive touch sensors when you're running, because if you're wearing gloves or if your hands are wet or any other situation where capacitive touch sensors are not ideal, a physical button is always very reliable, and I love having that. On top of that, we're getting 4 different colors with these. You've got like a little orangish coral kind of color, you've got a minty blue-green, and then black and white as well. So the earbuds, although we're lacking proximity sensor on the inside, and although, I mean, we'll test the microphone in a second, like overall, I'm kind of impressed with the design of these earbuds. Moving up to the Sony Linkbuds, this one really divided the entire earbud industry. Everybody was really impressed by the open ear design. They're incredibly comfortable. They're probably the lightest ones out of all of these. And when you put them in your ear, they're definitely a very different fit from any earbuds you've ever tried. where you put them in and you kind of have to fit the little rubber loop up in your ear, kind of in like your cartilage right there. And when you put them in, you could literally wear these, or at least I could wear these all day without really even knowing they're in my ear. So incredibly comfortable, and the way you control these is also good for running and very unique at the same time. So they don't have a touch sensor on the outside. Instead, you sort of tap like your jaw, like your cheekbone right there, and that will control the play, pause, whatever you want. And so that, again, is a really unique feature that you don't see on basically any earbuds out there. The Linkbuds also have a proximity sensor, so they'll know when you're in or out of your ears for autoplay and auto pause features, and they come in 2 different colors, and they also have a little wingtip on the top that you can adjust. You can find whatever size is right for you to fit perfectly and stay in your ears. And moving up to the Linkbuds S, these are being marketed as the lightest and smallest ANC hi-fi earbuds, which is really a narrow thing. I understand that, but it's something that a lot of earbuds want to be. You want to have hi-fi, you want to have great ANC, and you want to be really light and really small, and they definitely nailed all of those. These are incredibly small, very comfortable when you put them in your ear. In fact, I would say these are definitely way more comfortable than the C500s, and probably even more comfortable than the WF-1000XM4s, being that these are so much smaller. They come in 3 different colors. There's like a tan color and then white and black as well. And they do have a proximity sensor on the inside, so they'll know if they're in or out of your ears for an autoplay and auto pause feature, as well as kind of a new feature they added, which allows you to automatically play Spotify. Now, these have capacitive touch sensors on the outside, and instead of having a million microphones all over, you can see the microphones hidden behind the mesh on the outside, and we will get into, honestly, a pretty surprising microphone test in just a minute. Now, moving up to the premium, the top of the line, the WF-1000XM4s. These, without a doubt, look the most premium with that kind of copper gold finish all over them. I love the way these look. They definitely are the largest out of all of these, but with that, you're getting bigger sound, bigger active noise cancellation, and they really deliver a lot. But I mean, there is still something that is a drawback about being a larger pair of earbuds. They also are the only pair out of all of these that come with foam tips. That's like the native thing you're going to get on here, which is both good and bad. Like, some people might prefer silicone tips, so you can just swap them out, but the foam tips do give you better attenuation, better noise isolation, and you're gonna get better active noise cancellation as well, just blocking out a lot more sound around you. But with that, I mean, there is a problem with the foam tips. I used them for, honestly, only a couple months since these came out last fall, and my foam tip already got completely obliterated. I don't know how it happened. Maybe it was a temperature thing when it was in my backpack. I don't know, but I took them out one day and the earbud tip was just completely destroyed. I was on a flight and I couldn't use my earbuds because I didn't have another tip with me. Now, as I mentioned, this is the only model with wireless charging. Additionally, the battery life on here is 8 hours in earbuds and 24 when you include the case. And the earbuds, like I said, I love them. They're comfortable, but they're just a little bit too big. So they're definitely not ideal for working out, but for any kind of studio work, if you're sitting in an office or something, you know, they're not that bad. And I didn't mention the waterproof rating for any of these because they're all IPX4 water resistant, which is great for sweat or a light drizzle outside, but you're not gonna wanna drop them in a puddle. The 1000XM4s also come in 2 colors. There's a silver and obviously the black color right here. And I really love the color combinations, how they have that little copper undertone there. Just a fun accent to have on these. And although I already touched on comfort a little bit, I wanted to rank these in order. I would say the most comfortable, if you're just sitting and wearing them all day, without a doubt, are the Linkbuds. Your ears can really breathe. They're extremely lightweight and they fit perfectly in my ears. Then we have the Linkbuds S, which are very light and very compact, while still feeling not too hot in my ears, so they're definitely the second most comfortable. Number 3, surprisingly, is actually the C500s, again, because they are smaller, and although the 1000XM4s are not necessarily uncomfortable, the sheer size of them does make them feel a little bit heavier on your ears, and the foam tips do make your ears maybe a little bit sweatier, so slightly less comfortable, but still a solid pair of earbuds. Also, a really fun fact about the Linkbuds S is that the plastic on here is actually entirely made out of recycled plastic, which I love to see. Big sustainability push, and there's no plastic used in the packaging. It's all recycled paper and materials like that. So I really love the sustainability initiative. Props to Sony for doing that. Now, as far as aesthetics go, I'll leave this up to vote. Leave a comment below and let me know which of these you think looks the best. And before we get to the surprising test results of the microphone and the active noise cancellation, I think you'll definitely want to see those. Let's first focus on the sound quality. Obviously, it's so important if you're listening to music or podcasts. Starting off with the C500s, I've seen a lot of reviews out there where people said these sounded good. Personally, I could not recommend these for $100 if you just care about sound, because they have a constant hissing sound. Some earbuds struggle with this. I don't know why, but these have a constant hissing if you're playing anything. But the actual, if you can get past that and listen to the music itself, It sounds a little bit claustrophobic and a little bit of poor instrument separation. Again, we're judging this against some very premium models here, but with all things considered, there's a decent enough soundstage. It's a little bit bass heavy, a little bit muddy in my opinion, but a relatively lively sound, powerful lows, and if you're listening to pop or like some mainstream music like that, that's a little bit more lively, these will sound really fun, like I said. And so for the price, not necessarily a terrible balance, but there are plenty of other kind of better sounding earbuds that are at a similar price point. Moving up to the regular Linkbuds, you really can't compare these to any other earbuds on the market because they're such a different architecture, being an open ear design. They're a little bit more like open back headphones, but they kind of unfortunately lack the bass. Because the drivers have to be so incredibly tiny in there, you're not gonna get the best bass response out of these. And again, these are only supporting SBC and AAC. The reason I mentioned that for the lower two models is because the more premium two models, the Linkbuds S and the 1000XM4s, both have LDAC, which is Sony's proprietary codec, which gives you a substantially higher bitrate. You're getting way more information and therefore higher resolution in your audio. But getting back to the regular Linkbuds here, like I said, they really great clarity, really good highs, but they definitely lack a little bit of bass. Because it's an open design, it feels like it sounds a little bit more real. Like everything sounds pretty good if you're listening to acoustic music or anything like higher vocals, but anything below about 200 hertz is really significantly de-emphasized. If you work in a quiet space and you want earbuds that you can hear everything around you while still hearing some music that sounds pretty clear, they're gonna be great. But as soon as you go outside and you're in any kind of louder environment, it gets really hard to hear your music, although there is a feature I'll talk about that kind of addresses that. Moving up to the Linkbuds S, these do support LDAC. As I said, these are fun and lively, definitely substantially better sound than the lower two models. It's a slightly smaller driver than the XM4s, but still a really impressive sub-bass performance. It's a bit warm and almost a tad dark in my opinion, so I wish there was a little bit better highs or you could adjust that. I mean, I adjusted it the EQ, but it didn't quite get where I wanted to, considering these are $200, but all things considered, they sound really good. I think the hi-fi capabilities of these are really nice. I wish there was a slightly better soundstage and it didn't sound like it was all playing in the middle of my head, but like I said, still a pretty decent audio profile. I think most people would say that these do sound really good, but moving up to the 1000XM4s, without a doubt, these are going to be the best out of this entire set. It's really no surprise. They have a larger driver, they're more expensive, they're more premium. Sony's gonna focus on the sound here. These again have LDAC support, so great for hi-fi. They're warmer, more powerful, more full sounding. There's great detail, great clarity, and a wider soundstage than everything else here. There's also a more natural and clear sound when you're listening to really any genre of music. It doesn't have to just be pop or country or rock. And additionally, with the foam tips, you're getting better attenuation, you're getting better isolation with your music. And so definitely a substantial improvement over the other ones. But I would say an untrained ear might not notice too much of a difference between the Link S and the 1000XM4s. Like it's definitely there, it's definitely different. But if you don't test earbuds a lot side by side, you might not notice, like some people might not notice a big difference, right? That's what I'm saying. If you're not an audiophile, if you're not a connoisseur of high-end music, then that might not be a big driver in your decision. Now, something that these all have is they do all have app support, which is really nice. And in the app, you can enable DSEE, which is Sony's thing. You also have EQ that you can adjust for all of these, and it is the same equalizer. You can adjust all four sliders. You can choose the connection if you want to have a priority for sound quality or stability. Like I said, you're only getting LDAC on the two more premium models. The other ones are just SBC and AAC, but regardless, you have that choice in the app. Now, with that being said, let's actually get into a microphone test. As I mentioned, this might be a little bit surprising to you.
So getting to a microphone test, these are the WF-C500s. I'm outside and there is a lot of traffic going on behind me. Also, it's a little bit windy out here, so leave a comment and let me know what you think of these microphones. Now these are the Linkbuds. Again, you can see there's a lot of traffic behind me, a lot of wind out here, so let me know if you can hear what I'm saying. Here we have the flagship 1000XM4s. Comment below and let me know what you think of these microphones in comparison to the others. It's not that breezy right now, but still plenty of ambient sound around here. So now here's a microphone test with the Linkbuds S, as you can see right here. Honestly, the microphone, from my experience, is substantially better than the XM4s, which I thought was really surprising.
And now moving on to the active noise cancellation. This one is always one of the most exciting things for a pair of earbuds from Sony, and out of all of these, only two of them actually have active noise cancellation. The Linkbuds obviously do not because they're an open back design. There's a hole in the middle, so ANC wouldn't really do much. I'm looking at you, Galaxy Buds Live, and I tested these the same way I test all earbuds, where I played a sound on a speaker, I turned the volume up, and I tried to see at what level I could hear it. The sound was just the sound of a jet, and without a surprise, the best was the Sony 1000XM4s, blocking up to level 25. A higher number is better. Then in second place was the Sony Linkbuds S, again, no surprise, being the only other one that has ANC, and these actually blocked up to level 23, which was surprisingly close to the 1000XM4s. Given the price difference here, I was amazed at how good these were at actually blocking out the sound. Then in third place, again, no surprise here, the C500s, because they actually make a seal on your ears. They don't have active noise cancellation, but they do have some passive noise blocking just from plugging your ears, and they blocked up to about volume 13. And then of course the Linkbuds, just the regular ones, have a hole in the middle, and the whole point of it is to hear everything around you, so you could hear it all the way down to level 1. The Linkbuds S and the XM4s both have transparency mode, although it does sound like a little bit tunnely, and if you're outside and there's wind, you're definitely going to get some kind of feedback or some wind noise on that. And so without a doubt, the best if you're trying to hear your surroundings is going to be the Linkbuds. That's obviously what they were designed for. The C500s don't have any kind of pass-through mode or transparency mode, but it is what it is for $100, whatever. And now getting into the features. It's no surprise that the C500s lack a lot of the features that the other ones have, and so some of these features include Speak to Chat, which is available on the 3 more expensive models. Essentially, you just start talking, it'll lower your volume, turn on transparency mode, and you can hear whatever somebody else is saying as well as what you're saying. They also have transparency mode on the 2 more expensive models, like I said. We have adaptive volume control on the Linkbuds, which I mentioned earlier. If you go outside and there's any kind of loud noise around you, it's going to be almost impossible to hear your music. So adaptive volume control is kind of meant to address that, but there's only so much you can do when you have a hole in the middle of your earbud. We have adaptive sound control on the XM4s and on the Linkbuds, which essentially means if you move around your house or wherever you're moving, whatever you're doing, these can adjust and turn ANC on or off. It can turn transparency mode on and off. It can change a lot of the sound settings based on what you're doing and where you're going. You also have autoplay and auto pause on all of them except for the C500s, which lack a proximity sensor, and so therefore they can't do that. And then you have a tap for Spotify feature, which I said the Linkbuds S have that feature where you can just put in the earbuds and they'll automatically start playing Spotify, or you could just tap it, double tap it to open Spotify, or kind of a little soundscape thing that can play white noise if you want. The Linkbuds, the regular Linkbuds, have a similar feature as well to open Spotify, and while it's something that I don't personally use all the time, I don't know, maybe I should use it. It seems like a fun thing. As far as what all of these support, they do all have mono mode, which is great, but none of them are able to connect to multiple devices at the same time and switch between them, like what you might see on some Jabra earbuds or AirPods. Unfortunately, these don't do that. So in conclusion, which of these earbuds should you buy? Well, starting off with the Sony C500s, I mean, at the time when they came out, it was a decent pair of earbuds. They have decent enough sound, but I probably wouldn't recommend the C500s, for me, mostly because the hissing sound bothers me so much. For that price, I'd recommend considering maybe the Jabra Elite 3 or possibly the Buds A, because $100 is a really competitive price. There's so many good earbuds out there. I just don't know if I can recommend the C500s for a lot of people. Moving up to the Linkbuds, the regular Linkbuds are really unlike any other pair of earbuds out there. And I would say that you're either going to absolutely love these or absolutely hate them. If you're working in a louder environment, you're not going to be able to use them, you're not going to like them. But if you're in a quiet space and you really want to listen to your music but hear your surroundings as well, then they're going to be a fantastic pair. I personally love that I can wear them for hours and hours at a time without getting any ear fatigue, without my ear getting hot, and I can still hear if somebody comes into my office or somebody comes and tries to talk to me, I can hear everything around me. So I love having that. But as I said, you're not going to get the best bass, and in any louder environment, you really can't hear anything. And then the Linkbuds S, in my opinion, are the strongest recommendation I have out of this group. The sound is great, the ANC is powerful, they're lighter, they're very, very comfortable, and the microphones are far superior, in my opinion, to the 1000XM4s. And so, considering that they're a lot cheaper, about $80 cheaper than the XM4s, I think most people will be much happier with these earbuds. They would notice more of a positive impact on their life when they're using these. And so I think that's a clear winner out of this group. But moving up to the XM4s, if money is no object to you and if you really care about sound quality, the best active noise cancellation, and you know what? Maybe you don't really care that much about the size. Maybe you're not running with these. Maybe you just want something that sounds good when you're in an office or commuting on a plane, on a bus. The X Mark IVs, without a doubt, are the absolute king. They're among my favorite earbuds on the entire market right now, with great audio quality, really unbeatable active noise cancellation. The foam tips give you even better noise isolation, and in general, they're just a really clear winner here. So leave a comment and let me know which of these you like the best down below. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be making many more comparisons in the future. I'm Mike O'Brien, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.